Good morning, Marky Z. I see you. I can see Mark from here. Good morning, Marky Z. Mark, what time zone are you out of? Which time zone are you in, Mark? Good morning, Sandy. What do we got? 15 days? 15, 16 days? Central. Your central time zone. Okay. All right. You don't have to get up super duper early. Not like some of our West Coasties. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. I love seeing you guys say good morning to each other here. It's one of my favorite parts of the day is to just take 3 seconds and read these comments. 15 days, Sandy. Marky Z, we're about at the same time. We're waking up just about the same time, bro. Good morning, Roy T. Roy, where the heck have you been? Haven't seen Roy in a minute. Jeffrey, there's my guy from New Zealand. All the way from New Zealand, my man Jay. The God Seeker, good morning. Good morning to the God Seeker. You could go to Australia and hook up with JC, God Seeker. I'm not sure he's godly, but you can still hook up with him. Seeking God. Good morning, Funny Zenverse. Funny Zenverse. He's off to work, but he's gonna hang. Big Al. Now, guess what, you guys? I see a new name here, a new name blast from the past. Would everybody say good morning to exception to the rule? Take 2 and say good morning to exception. Exception is exceptional. Exception to the rule. Does anybody remember that name here? Exception to the rule. Good morning to the exception. Very quickly, the exception. Exception to the rule. Here she is. I want to say something about that. Good morning, exception. Caught me by surprise yesterday afternoon. Exception and Pops had a misunderstanding. Was it a misunderstanding? No, I understood. She understood. I had a reason to decide to not be involved. For a long time, I'm just going to have to tell everybody the truth here, because there's a good side of the story. Whether I was right or wrong, I do what I do. I had exception here on a timeout. Oop. I can put any of you on a timeout if I want to, based off of this technology. You could be at your end reading and listening, and you could be making remarks, and your remarks won't come through. You're blanked out. You can still see, you can still watch, but you're on a blankie. I gotta tell you guys something. I blankied my friend Exception almost 6 months ago. And as far as I was concerned, that was it. As far as I was concerned. Bill Gal just said something there about time. Time makes me don't care if I was right or wrong. Time makes me don't care if I was right or wrong. Time makes me want to get back to being as kind as I can possibly be. I don't care if I was right. I don't care if she was right or wrong. It's a family. Things will happen in between. Here's what I wanted to say out loud to everybody here. Exception is exceptional. And I'll tell you why. Because she never gave up. She never gave up on you guys. She never gave up on me. She never quit. She's the girl that at work she's at work. She has to watch this and listen to it on headphones while work's going on around her and her boss doesn't really know. She hasn't missed a show in the 6 months. If she has, it's been, I don't know. She's been there every day listening, even though she was blanked. She wouldn't quit. She wouldn't give up. About 2 months ago, she wrote me, Pops, what a big long thing. Kim, I can't even tell you how humbled I am. Exception and I don't always see eye to eye, but that's not what's important. What's important is how much she cares. I'm humbled by her and her consistency. We're consistent here. We're here every day, but so was she, and we didn't even know it. About 2 months ago, she wrote to me. She goes, Pops, can I be unblanked? I said, absolutely, but I don't know how to do it. I went through my phone. I went through YouTubes. I went through this and that. I don't know how to unblank someone. I don't know how to unblock them. I wrote her back. I go, man, I really am trying, but I don't know how to do it. Pops is technically very, very limited. Pops is really limited. It's either CCS does it for me or Brock does it for me. I can barely turn on a phone. What does Sandy say? That's what makes us great. Makes Exception great. Makes Pops great because I'm not holding any grudges or saying it. 2 months ago, I wrote her, I go, Exception, I don't know how to turn you back on. Sharon, are you as challenged as I am? I personally don't know how to do it. I invite you, I told her, I wrote to her. You can swing by anytime, grab my phone, and see if you can unblank. Well, what an awkward position to put somebody in. I couldn't help it, though. I don't know how to do it. You can do it if you want to. You do it yourself. It wasn't that. That wasn't my attitude. My attitude was truly, Exception knows how to do this stuff. She's really sharp on this stuff. Yesterday afternoon, on my door. I wasn't expecting it, but she had texted me on an old number she had. She didn't even have my new number to tell me she was going to drop by. Boop, there's Exception at my front door with a bag of French fries. Exception, I ate the fries after you left. Exception standing there with a bag of French fries. Pops, can I be unblanked? Get in here. Exception had herself unblanked in about 12 seconds flat. She goes, all you got to do is boop, boop, just beep, boop, da, boop, beep, beep. I made her drive all the way over to my house for that. You talk about somebody that paid a price and did it with kindness and willingness. I'm humbled, Exception. Thank you. Thanks for sticking in there. Thanks for not giving up on everybody here. And nobody here doesn't think kindly and highly of you. Yeah, the only thing she could have brought that would have messed the whole thing up was a powdered donut. She was smart enough not to do that. Exception, welcome. You haven't left. So I was about to say welcome back. She hasn't left, but thank goodness that we can hear and talk to you again here. I want 10 people, 28 likes. So you guys don't like Exception very much. Or you don't like talking about it. Do I have a problem here? Is there an Exception? What's the problem? I'll wait till we get to 40. We're at 32. Exception and I'll be back. It's boring waiting. There's 39. I need one more. Now we're at 41. Thank you, kids. Who agrees with that? Who agrees? Who agrees with that? Who agrees? You know, she's been gone for a little while, hasn't she? One more. Sure hope we can send you something on Friday, Exception. I'm humbled, and I'll honestly say, thank you. Aviator days. Well, let me think about it. Well, you are a special, Exception. You're special. Very, very few people on the whole planet Earth would have hung in there. And it was that important to you. We are that important to each other. I'm humbled. And I mean that sincerely from the bottom of my heart. Okay. No more donuts. Good for you, Marky Z. So, that was a 12-minute rant on goodness, and you know, Pops will come around. Exception's like, Pops will get over it. Pops will get over it eventually. I get over it because I see somebody that cares so much. Okay? That's where true, and I don't mean there was a sin. This isn't about sin and religion. Repentance is just a willingness to be different. I had to repent to her. I have to be different. She has to repent to me. She needs to be different. We're going to build a beautiful relationship. Okay. You guys, that's enough of that. Is Vegas here this morning? Have we seen Vegas? Man, is Vegas here this morning? You're right, JC. I don't know if I was a prick. I just had my opinion. Okay? I had an opinion. And my opinion matters. To me. Is Vegas here this morning? I don't see a Vegas. No Vegas right now. Okay. Vegas was going to do our giveaways today, but I'll just go ahead and do them. Okay? I need to get two more people's names on the board. Let me get two more people's names on the board today. The board's for a big spin. I'm going to give away I think I'm going to give away 14-gram pack on Friday. Half ounce. Is Bahar here? I haven't seen Bahar in a minute. I'm going to give away a 14-gram pack on Friday. Okay? Giving me numbers 1 through 50. Go. 1 through 50. I have a number right here in my chute. What number is it? And I'm trying to get your names on the board. Okay? I can't put Brock on the board. Brock can take anything he wants off the. That's really kind of you, though. But he has access to the dose counter that you guys don't have. Daily access to the dose counter. I'm looking at the numbers. I'm all the way down to Captain Cannabinoid, and I still haven't seen the number that's in the chute. Numbers 1 through 50, you can say up to 3 of them at one time on a line. 1 through 50, I still haven't seen the number. I'm waiting. If that number comes up soon, I'll put your name on the board. I have not seen that number yet. Where is that number? Okay, I can tell you this. It's an even number. It's not odd. It's an even number. Okay? Let me see. I still haven't seen it. I hope I didn't scroll by it. There it is. Ghastly Gruesome said 30. Ghastly, the number was 30. Ghastly, you're the first 30 I see on my screen. So, let's get Ghastly. It's a great name for coming around Halloween. Ghastly. Ghastly. Congratulations to the Ghast. Okay. I'm going to do one more real quick giveaway. It's not a giveaway. It's getting a name on the screen. I'll give away a piece of fruit here at the end of the show, too. Okay? Since we're getting names on the screen, left and right exception. Here we go. First three people to answer this easy question. Ridiculously easy question. Okay? It's super duper dumb easy. First three people to answer it correctly move to the minor spin to win round. Okay? The category is 1500s. Not 1600s, not 1400s, 1500s. In the early 1500s, he produced a codex in words and pictures on the flight of birds, one of many subjects that interested him. Give me the first three people to get this correct. We'll move forward to the mini spin to win round. Okay, I've got it. The answer is Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci, you smarty pantsers. I told you it was an easy one. Final Jeopardy, that was it. I was like, last night I'm like waiting for Final Jeopardy and they do that. Seriously? That's probably the easiest double Jeopardy or Final Jeopardy I've heard in a month. What? That was ridiculously easy. Who else? We've all seen pictures of his flying machine sketches and his Birdman outfit. Come on. Easy. Matt knew it. Matt, you're number one. Matt knew all about it. Right? Matt, you're one. Alan, you're number two. Okay? Alan, you're number two. Alan knew it. And then Little Roy, he's going to be number three. This would have been really easy if you guys had have just watched. Who watched? Matt, Alan, or Little Roy? Tell the truth. Matt, Alan, or Little Roy? Why am I talking so loud? Shh. Matt, Alan, or Little Roy? Who watched Jeopardy last night? Of those three. Alan says, I didn't watch, I just knew, Pops. Okay. How about you, Alan? I'm Matt or Little Roy. Okay. If you just watched Jeopardy, that was the whole idea. Little Roy said I watched it, Pops. Okay, well, good. Now you're on the spin, bro. See how easy that was? All you have to do is watch Jeopardy tonight and answer one of the first three. Be one of the first three answerers. You don't even have to go Google it or anything. It's going to be on TV tonight. Okay, so that's going to be tomorrow. I'll do it again. Today, it's Matt, number 1. Alan, number 2. And Little Roy's going to be number 3. Let's spin it, baby. Little Roy went from the little spin. Little boy went from the little spin to the big spin. Very, very ironic. Here we go, Little Roy. Boom. Little Roy is going to be Big Roy real soon. Yeah. Okay. Before I go any further, who likes, and just give me a rando answers, who likes the Jeopardy question segment for the rest of this week? Who thinks I should keep doing it, or who says, Pops, knock it off? We don't want to really learn. Who likes it? Okay, who likes it? And if you don't like it, say it. Pops, please. Stop making us learn. Okay? You like it, you're sure. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, keep the Jeopardy Family Feud next. Should we do it? Bob Johnson's meh. I want you guys to, I want your brains to grow. That's all, okay? We want our brains to grow. Little Roy, I watch it every night with my mom. I used to too before my mom passed away. My mom was a cheater though. Good, true story. My mom's super duper, really, really smart. Smarter than Pops. And you know how it is when your parents smarter than you your whole life? You're like, gosh, she's so, both my mom and dad, super smart. And literally, we watched Jeopardy since the time we were Art Fleming. I mean, the whole family would sit around. My mom actually got the Jeopardy game, the board game. And in the board game back in the day, I don't know if any of you remember this, back in the day, they used to have little clickers, a little clicker, and you would click that. That would be the button to say it's freeze, you get an answer. It's a true story. They came in the little game box. Clickers. Click. Stupid. Cost about 15 cents from Korea for one of those clickers. We would click. You the little kid. My mom, you didn't click. You can't answer yet. We were trained. Little Jeopardy soldiers. Later in life, when I was taking care of my mom, okay, later on, her last few years, she's living in my house and ill, had a hospital bed set up in the living room. I was like, there's my mom's room. And one of her favorite things in the world was to wait till 7:30 at night and Jeopardy would come on. And she'd call, please come watch Jeopardy with me. Okay. Of course I'm gonna watch Jeopardy with my mom. Here's where I'm going with the story. Jeez. One year, all of a sudden, we started watching Jeopardy at 8 o'clock. Jeopardy comes on at 7. But we're starting to watch Jeopardy at 8 o'clock. I'm like, okay, well, it didn't take me long to realize that my mom was taping the show. She was taping it and getting the pre-answers. And then when the show would come on, come and watch it with me. Literally a half hour later, she's sitting there rattling off answers because she had just watched it live and she's taped it. I didn't find out for a little while. I didn't figure it out for a little while. You cheater. You don't tape Jeopardy and then like half an hour later play somebody with it. That is not fair. That is not impeccable. I swear to God on Holy Bible. She's in there tapes it all by herself. I was like, my mom got she was always smart, but she's really smart now. I swear to God. Ask, hey, Brock, are you here? We used to like be fascinated. How does she always know the Final Jeopardy answer? She hasn't missed it in a month. Do you remember that? Do you remember when Mom taped Jeopardy? Brock's the one that figured it out. That's right. I'm like going along, like, wow, she's really smart. Brock's like, hey, Dad, I think Mom's cheating. I think Grandma's cheating. She doesn't cheat. What are you talking about? Yeah, watch. Remember when the show used to be at 7:30? Why is it at 8 now? I don't know. I just thought they changed the programming. I didn't know. I'm not paying attention to that. Give me 5 people that think that's funny. Okay. You guys have already been saying it. Thank you. Oh, yeah. We have Jeopardy in our blood over here. It's in our blood, I tell you. I've never tried that one. The old Recordo the Answero. And hey, she was really smart because she played it like right away. Because even if you're super smart and you've taped Jeopardy today, you'll forget some of the answers by tomorrow. You will, okay? Because there's some tough questions. But if you play it back within a half hour, boop. How does Mom know all about sports stars? She has never seen a football game in her life. How does she know Johnny Unitas? She's never. How does she know about opera? We don't do opera. All right, I'm moving on. You guys want to have a substrate class, I think. Yes, nerdy. She played, but twice a day in a row. Poop, poop. So it's a trick. You guys want to beat somebody at Jeopardy? Just tape it. All right, bulk substrates. We're going to talk about substrates for about 20 minutes here, 30 minutes. And then we're going to do our love class. Thanks for listening to my silly story. But I do want us to be smarter. There's nothing wrong with our brains being bigger than they currently are. Okay? There's nothing wrong with it. Bulk substrates. What is a bulk substrate? Years ago, when we first started growing mushrooms at home, this is in the 90s, Professor Fanaticus came along, and he created what they call PF Tech, right? And PF Tech is basically where they're using brown rice flour in small jars. They colonize the spawn, the grain spawn, in little jars. And then they take those jars on a bed of vermiculite that gives you your moisture barrier. Inside of a tub, on a bed of vermiculite, they'll put these little cakes out of the jars. You'll have these little cakes. I'll show some pictures later today. We did some, these aren't current pictures, they're in my file. We started doing it rather than with cakes, we started doing mounds. A whole mound at one time. For example, your UB bags, our Uncle Ben bags. When we open those, for me personally, Uncle Ben's is very, very hard to break up after it's colonized. It's very hard. And I don't think you do a great deal of justice trying to use Uncle Ben's bags across a whole substrate. So typically with our Uncle Ben's here, we'll use that whole bag as a mound, cover it in substrate after we've hydrated the spawn. And that's basically PF Tech. It's the same thing. It works great. PF Tech is great. And the single greatest advantage of PF Tech is that it minimizes the opportunity for contamination. Because basically you're just using the cake that was in the jar, or you're using the spawn that was in the bag, as is. You've hydrated it, get some water into it for the growing process, and you'll cover it with some kind of a casing. But it's super basic. You got yourself a little cake tower, or you got yourself a little mound, okay? And you just keep that moist. And here's why it's a good technique. Because as I mentioned, is Vegas here? Okay, good. Okay, good. Vegas, give me about 10 minutes and then do a giveaway here. Okay, girl? Vegas was going to do our giveaways today, so I'm glad that she's here. Vegas, at about 20 minutes to 9, do one of your giveaways here, okay, dear? Thank you. Jolie is watching you, so Jolie will see how we do it. Okay? Oh, you didn't oversleep, Vegas. It's 6 o'clock in the morning over there. Okay? So thank you for even being here in the first place. PF Tech, or Mound Tech. I call it Mound Tech. The single greatest thing is it really minimizes your contamination. Because you're not adding a bunch of stuff to it, and you're not creating more open spaces that contamination can come down. The drawback from a Mound Tech or a PF Tech is that you don't get a lot of fruit from that amount of spawn. We figured out, hey, you could take that same amount of spawn as we're going to put in a mound, and if we break it up and we add another substrate and we mix those, we can get almost 4 times the amount of return from that one jar. That's the facts that I came up with. It's almost a 4-time return. Well, we figured out over time. I would do it. I would take a jar, mound it, and I'd take a jar and cake it. Make cakes from it. And I would get about a 4-time return when I made cakes. When I first was really getting into trying to get a big production or more than just a couple of tubs going, I did this, and I recommend this very strongly to people that are first starting out and they're looking for yield and looking for performance. Don't make all of your tubs cakes. And don't make all of your tubs mounds. Have a different amount of each. Here, for a while, I was running 50-50. Half of my tubs I had cakes in, and half of my tubs I ran mounds. My mound tubs always did perform better on contamination, but worse on harvest. My cake tubs always perform better on harvest, but they would tend to get contaminated. So as Kim is saying, I don't put all my eggs in one basket. You'll want, until you can get a basket that's just, boop, I can do the basket, which we're almost there, I don't want to brag. You'll want to do both. Not only is it efficient for you, but you're also going to learn. You're going to find out the different steps, the different things, and it gives you an opportunity to really decide for yourself what's the best techniques in the environment that you have. It also gives you a broader spectrum of knowledge that you get to go out and share with people as they're coming up in the myco community. So I suggest you try both ways. Okay? Cakes. We're going to talk about making cakes here, not so much mounds. Mounds, again, simple. All we do is put a bed of perlite and we moisten that bed of perlite. A trick. Everybody knows it. When you mix your water up that you're going to moisten your bed of perlite with, if you're doing a PF Tech or a Mound Tech, add 10% hydrogen peroxide to your water. So you're going to have a 10% hydrogen peroxide, 90%. We try to use distilled water or sterilized boiled water that's been cooled down to room temperature. That hydrogen peroxide helps from any bad growths in the moisture. Okay? So we're going to definitely recommend that you use a hydrogen peroxide mix when you are moistening your perlite bed. Okay? So that's Mountain Tech. That's PF Tech. It's a different tech than we're going to definitely talk about. I'm going to say early 2000s, guys started realizing we can get more bulk, more fruit, if we take our substrate, our spawn, and we break it up and we add it to a soil mixture, another substrate. And if we add that to a soil mixture, and we're careful and we're clean and we watch all our airflows, blah, blah, we can get 4 times the amount of return. So we started doing that. We started experimenting with making cakes. The big experiment back, I'm going to say 10 years ago, was what would your soil mix be? Everybody out there was coming up with everything. We want to add coffee grinds to ours. We're going to add gypsum to ours. We're going to put a little turtle poo in ours. We're going to add cow manure to ours. We're going to put worm castings in ours. All of these different things that we're coming up with to add to your substrate, to add quote unquote nutritional value to the substrate. Okay? Your substrate basically starts out as this. And here's the truth. If you used nothing else, this alone would work. Not super well. Cocoa coir. When we're making our substrates, we want to start with a cocoa coir. It's the same thing where do I get it, Pops? Every grow house, every reasonably sized city has a store that provides supplies to marijuana growers. Everyone. And at that store that has supplies for marijuana growers, they have bags and bags and bags of cocoa coir. It'll come either already in a brick form and compressed, or it'll come in bags already fluffed out. If you don't have access to that, Amazon, PetSmart, like someone's saying here, lots of places you have no problem getting yourself cocoa coir. Cocoa coir is simply this. It's the husks off of coconuts. Have you ever seen a more fertile area, a more beautiful looking jungle, a more amazing looking bed in a forest than you see in Hawaii? Hawaii is well known for, everything's so green, everything grows so beautifully, everything's so fast. Half of Kauai is a coconut husk. All of those coconut trees, they've dropped their coconut husks. They've embedded themselves into the soil. It's either lava or coconut husks. Make up the islands. And it's an extremely fertile base. The most important thing about cocoa coir is this. It's pH neutral. At the end of the day, when we're finished and we've made our cake, we've made our materials, our mycelium wants to be in a cake that's pH neutral. pH is your acid versus alkaline factor in your soil. You don't want it too acidic and you don't want it too alkalinic. You want it, for growing our mushrooms, specifically cubensis, we want those to be at a pH neutral, the soil itself. As a matter of fact, it's kind of important too, if you're really getting picky with your grows, your water. that you're going to use to spray and mist and do all that. You want that to be pH neutral too. Not everybody's water out of their tap or distilled water or this or that comes out pH neutral. They have kits you can buy almost anywhere. You dip a little strip in your water and you look at it and you can tell what your pH level of your water is. And if you're really being as picky as Pops used to be, not so much anymore, but I used to be, I would check my water alkalinity level, and you can add a little more. They have two different mixtures. You can make it a little more acidic or a little more alkalinic, and you can balance out and get your water at exactly pH neutral. But that's what you're looking for. So coconut coir, it already starts out as a pH neutral. Then all we need to do with that coconut coir, the reason we don't use coconut coir alone, just by itself, that's all you need, is because it's a sponge. It'll hold water in like too much, and it doesn't really expel the water. So it becomes like a spongy, swampy mass. So what we do is there's a mineral called perlite. Perlite literally is minerals. If you look at it closely, there's like little flakes of, like little gold flakes in there. There's little, it almost looks like pieces of metal. And there's all kinds of little stuff inside of our perlite. At the end of the day, though, I did some research. Perlite is not harmful for human consumption. Not that we want to sit around and eat a bowl of it. Am I saying perlite? I meant vermiculite. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you guys for correcting me. Perlite's our white one. Vermiculite, thank you. Thank you for correcting me. Thank you. So, vermiculite, thank you. We have our vermiculite. Our vermiculite's a mineral substance that when we mix it with the cocoa coir, it does two things. It creates pathways between all the fibers of the cocoa coir. It's like, boop, you got a little dot, and it creates pathways it's loosened up the cocoa coir, so our mycelium can work its way through the cocoa coir strands. And it's also an anti-sponge. So it doesn't absorb the water the same way that the cocoa coir does. So it becomes a nice mix between the two of them. We here, I'm just jump forward here for a second. We here have a proprietary mix. It took me 3 years to decide what my final mix of substrate mix was going to be. I used everything. I practiced with all of them. And when I say practiced, to a scientific degree, I would do that. I would, because I had the time and I had the passion for it. I'm going to start cakes with this substrate mix, and right next to it, same environment, everything I can scientifically compare. I'm going to start another cake with a different substrate mix, and I'm going to see which one performs better than the other. Is there an outperformer? Is there one that works better than others? For a while there, I thought I'd hit the nail on the head. For a while, I was like, I've got the perfect mix. Don't forget that Pops will always teach and preach. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. I'll give you an example. There's recipes out there that call for us to add gypsum to them. Well, that's interesting. Gypsum's drywall without the paper. There's a reason for it. But here's what happens with gypsum. If you add too much, you create a burn soil. Your soil gets way hotter than you realize. You put a little too much pH gypsum in, and you've created a really negative cake. substrate. We're told, oh, do 5% in our recipes. Okay. Sometimes it's actually hard to decide what's exactly 5%. Oops, so it's 8%. I overdid my gypsum. I'm not going to have a good return. Because now here's what happens. This is my opinion only. This is simply my opinion. And I'm just saying it. Keeping it simple is the most important part of mycology. I'll tell you why. Personal experience. I'm going to be smarter than all of the other mycologists out there. I'm going to come up with the greatest substrate. I'll spend 2 years researching. I did. What's the best substrate material? How can I? So I can know everything. I am going to be the substrate genius, and then I know something everybody else doesn't know. And at the end of the day, every time I think back, I think of how much my ego was involved. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to have the most. This is just me. I'm not talking about you guys. Me. My ego, the more complicated things get, the bigger my ego gets. Look at me. And I can handle this one. It really does. And I'm in mushroom cultivation to do the exact opposite. I truly am. I want my ego to be less and less. I want my kindness to grow, and I want my ego to go away. And mushrooms have really done quite a job on that. I've said this 100 times, 1,000. I grow more than the mushrooms grow as a result of growing mushrooms. Because of how much I learn about myself, and then how much I can help other people, and how much the community. I mean, I'm turning myself into a giant. Without that ego, the more I'm like, oh, and then you add another 2% of this and 1% of that, and then another 14%, and I have the perfect. After 2 years of doing that, you know what I found out? I don't need any of it. The coffee grains didn't make my substrate better. The gypsum put me in peril if I overdid it. The dinosaur poop didn't really make a difference. The boomer bags that I was getting from Maine, half of them came that had manure in them. Half of them came smelling like chlorine when you opened them up. Vegas, go ahead and do your giveaway. Give me a name of a winner. Vegas does one of our giveaways. So I need a name of a winner, sweetie. Well, my whole point to you guys is remove your ego. I know, Sandy, that was Northsport. It sucked. I'd order 10 bags because I don't have time to make my substrate this month. I'm going to order it from Northsport. I'd open up 5 of them were lousy. I'm just saying. Dinosoil is the only other place that I've ever gone, and I know because I know him. We're friends. And we're friends because he performs to the mycology community. If he was out there ripping people off, he wouldn't be my friend. If he was out there trying to do this just to take advantage of things, he wouldn't be my friend. That guy runs a turtle sanctuary. And he puts some of the turtle poop in his mix. I'm not going to tell you how much. I'm going to tell you that his proprietary blend of dinosoil is really simple. It's very simple. Here, I thought I had the ticket on my blend. I thought 60% cocoa coir in my mix, 30% vermiculite, and 10% worm castings. What is a worm casting? That's the dirt that worms have been traveling around in, and that they're living and they're crawling and all that. As they're crawling through, guess what they do? They poop. They leave a little bit of their poopy behind. So when you go and grab a scoop of worm casting, it's worm poop dirt. Basically, It's dirt that's got worm poop in it. Okay? And it works. It has a nutritious value. But let me tell you guys something. You know where the real nutrition comes from when we're making a cake? When I made my PF Tech cake, or when I made my mound cake, did I add gypsum to it? Did I do anything other than a casing on it? No. Because where the real nutrition comes for the mycelium to continue to grow is from the grain itself. The actual grain itself, the whole oats, the corn. You know, when we make our cake, that corn still has a whole lot left for the mycelium to eat. It's got a whole lot of energy and protein left in it. It hasn't eaten it completely just because it looks white to us. It still has work to do to eat through that. So when we make our cakes and we break up our spawn and we mix it into our substrate material, that's where the protein's coming from. If you're going to do anything, if you're going to err in any direction, add another jar of mycelium, of spawn. Why add gypsum? Why add dino poop? Why add coffee grounds? Why not just add the grain they're already chewing on? Oh, that makes sense. Here at the Detroit grow house, all we use 35% cocoa coir. 65% cocoa coir, 35% vermiculite, no additives. The additive is the spawn. I would argue that we have good results with that. Give me 5 people that agree. Pop's results look pretty good with that basic substrate, and his ego's not involved, and he's not trying to show off he has the best substrate mix in town. He's trying to tell everybody, don't do that. It's all you need. It is all you need. The rest of it's bro science, YouTubes, and mask teachers. And you don't have to take my word for it. Try it yourself. Bulk substrates are mildly nutritious materials used in mass mushroom cultivation. We're looking to get mass amounts. Bulk substrates are often used in conjunction with the pre-colonized grain spawn, the stuff that's in our bags or our jars. The spawn is then used to inoculate the bulk substrate. The bulk substrate, the substrate's simply a net. It's a net. The word substrate itself means that. It's a fibrous area that our mycelium gets to work its all through, and it starts sucking all of the moisture out of that bulk material. And it starts bringing the cake in off of the sides of the tubs. And if you have a good liner on there, then it starts saying, I'm going to shoot my energy out the top. I'm going to start pinning out the top. So we'll carry this on. We're going to talk about a little bit more tomorrow and Friday. So far, all I've talked about is the recipe. There are other recipes out there. I'll post a few later today online on my IG account. These are commonly accepted substrate recipes. And I don't tell you don't try it. Matter of fact, I say do try it so you'll know for yourself and don't just take my word for it. I'll also say if you want to fast forward, pass go, collect your $200 and keep on playing, don't get complicated with your substrate. It's not where the complications lie. The complications lie, and it's not even, none of this is complicated. It lies in your dedication to the process, your cleanliness, your antiseptic procedures, your FAE. That's where it's all going to come from. It isn't going to come from you put a magic pill in the material, in the substrate. Ghosts love it simple, Deb. Yes. I don't have the cubensis, period. Now, I'm not talking to you guys about growing any other type here. I don't have the experience with it enough to sit here and tell you. Other things want sawdust, they want straw, they want cow poo, they want different kinds of mushrooms, want different things. Cubensis, the strains that I run, so basic, it's not even funny. And that's one of the reasons I do it. I don't want to spend a bunch of time trying to be some substrate scientist. I did that for 2 years, and you know what I found out? It was ego. It was my ego. My ego refusing to say, you know what, nature knows best. Just keep it simple. She's growing mushrooms out of cracks in the asphalt. There's cracks in the asphalt, mushrooms are coming out of it. I have to make some special cake with coffee grinds and gypsum and poo and then no, I don't. I only do that because someone else said I had to and I didn't figure it out. So that's one of the most important things that I've ever learned, and I continue to learn. Get your ego out of this thing. You'll find out how much better you grow. Let's do. I saw Vegas get a name. Vegas, later on today, when you get a chance, just send me the names of the people whose names you have to put on the board. Okay? You just send me those names. I want you to do another one. Get us another name as soon as you can. The last one I saw, there was a Mayflower and Nina answers, so it must have been a pilgrim question. Thank you. Do another one vague. At the end of the day, I'm going to want to get 2 names from you. I take that back. Yeah, 2 names. Give me 2 names and yours. I'm going to put you on the wheel. Okay? Give it away, give it away, give it away now. And then I'm going to try to give away some fruit at the end of today, if you guys are still here. Remember yesterday I was talking about being a flower? Remember yesterday I was confessing to you guys that Pops goes too fast? That he doesn't do a good job of slowing down? That's ego. That's self-judgment. It helps to see ourselves as flowers. If a flower were to push itself to open faster, which it can't, it would tear. We talked about that. Yet we humans can and often do push ourselves. Often we tear in places no one can see us. That's true. And then what happens with people like us? You don't want anybody to know you tore. So you disappear. I don't even want to know that I have a tear. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to close the curtains. I'm not answering the phone. Ever done that? And we set ourselves up to be that way there in the first place. I don't believe people bring cancer on themselves. But I do believe we weaken ourselves. I don't believe you bring the cancer, but I believe you bring a weakened condition and open ourselves up for it. Statistically, you know what they found out? Brain cancer people with brain cancer. Statistically. The creative side of their brain is the part that catches the cancer first. the creative part of your brain. That's heavy. That's one of the reasons I always try to create. I want that part of my brain to always be like kind of healthy. I don't want it to be sitting around ready to catch a cancer cell. Do you get it? I don't want that. I have to keep myself well. If I tear, which I will, I have to tell someone. I have the lucky situation here. Not lucky, we're creating it. Of, you know what happens when I tear? I come here and tell you guys. My relationship with exception was torn. Torn. She's the one that kept it from breaking completely. Thank you. But if I can't tell someone I'm torn, I have a tear, I'm going to isolate. I'm going to want you to think I'm perfect. I want you to think I'm Pops and he can't make that mistake. I want you to think I have the best substrate in the business. I keep it simple. No matter how flawed or incomplete we are, we're always blossoming. One more quick thing. Then we overthink. Anybody an overthinker? I used to be. I don't overthink too much anymore because I'm too busy. I used to overthink and I'd end up with migraines. Overthink. Overanalyze. Gets us in a lot of trouble. Someone usually can come along and go, you're overthinking right now. And go, oh God, thank you, you're right. But usually, sometimes it takes somebody to give you a thanks, I needed that. I think the group of us here tend to be overthinkers. It's just a general statement. Overthinking is an annoying reflex of being human. Did you hear the word? It's literally a reflex. Some of us blame ourselves. Oh, it's my fault that I overthink. No, it's not. It's very normal. It's a reflex. The good news is it's a voluntary reflex. See, involuntary, I don't really control when I blink. Voluntary, I can control when I pick my hand up and when I put it down. If it's a voluntary reflex, I can decide when to overthink and when not to. As soon as I identify it as a reflex, give me 5 people that agree. Overthinking is a reflex. It's a reflex to whatever's going on. Oh, it's my reflex reactions to. And it's voluntary. The minute we realize it's voluntary, we don't have to sign up for it. We don't have to step forward and volunteer. Often, in overanalyzing a problem or replaying what to say or what to do, I feel like a cow shooing a fly that will never go away. We all do this. No one is exempt. Feeling insecure, I can endlessly repeat the things that make me feel solid about myself. And yet all my self-esteem keeps unraveling. What is there to do? Einstein said this. We'll keep doing more substrate the rest of the week, Deborah. Einstein said this. Einstein said, insight is the manner of thinking that creates a problem. Excuse me. I'm reminded of Einstein's insight that said, a manner of thinking that creates the problem cannot be the thinking that gets you out of the problem. The stinking thinking that got you into the problem cannot get you out of it. You're going to have to change your thinking. It's the same thing as they say in AA. Insanity is the definition of doing it over and over and expecting a different result. In simple terms, when you're spinning out, the only thing to do, hard as it seems, is to get off the merry-go-round. Spinning out is a reflex. It's a voluntary reflex. Insecurity. Voluntary reflexes. They'll drive you to depression. They'll drive you to anxiety. They'll drive you to a place that you're literally feeling like mental health #1 guy. And you volunteered for it. Hard as it seems, you need to get off the mental merry-go-round. Herbie, you feel like you can't breathe. Been there. And I put myself on that merry-go-round. I did. I volunteered. I'd like to get on the merry-go-round where I can't breathe, please. We need to jump off the merry-go-round in mid-thought. We need to jump off of it in mid-thought. Remember back when you were a kid in the playground? Wasn't that one of the funnest things in the whole world? Get one of your friends to get that merry-go-round spinning. I mean, the guy would be running alongside of you. Get that merry-go-round spinning as fast as you can, and then nobody stayed on it. You jumped off. You landed and tumbled and somersaulted. Oh, that was the greatest. You get back on and you speed the merry-go-round up again. The best part of merry-go-round was always the jumping off. Staying on for too long, you just got dizzy and sick. You couldn't wait to hurl and jump off. This is great. Remember those feelings. That's the terrain of faith. I love this word. The land of faith. You don't know where you're going to land. Just jump off. Believing that something deeper will wash over you. In truth, no amount of thinking will give you confidence. You could think all day long, you're not going to gain confidence from it. No amount of thinking about the sun will warm you. Just as no amount of thinking about love will hold you. Confidence and love and the light of the world wait on our volunteering. Boop. Looks like we're doing on 1 through 50. Thank you for listening to me today. We'll continue to talk about substrates tomorrow. I have a really neat lesson for tomorrow. I'm going to have some rando factos tomorrow, and we're just going to continue to grow in love and exist together. Let me see what we're doing here. I have to put Vegas on here for doing our giveaways today. Thank you, Vegas. Vegas is up. I saw she had an Alan. Alan's up. Whoever wins this one right here, Whoever wins this one right here, hello, J-Rod. Whoever wins this one right here, Chris. Chris got it. Here we go. You know what? With Chris, I'm going to do something different. With Chris, let's do this. Chris, hold on, let me grab something. Hold on, let me grab something, Mr. C. Here we go. Hey, Chris, instead of putting your name on the spin to win, you're getting yours now. It's not a lot, but it'll be fun. We're going to send you this ghost right here. And we're going to send you this pack of capsules that came from Hager's. Haig says there's 6 different varieties of cubensis in here. It's a 6 shroom blend, all pure. He didn't add anything else other than cubensis. There's 6 different strains in here. So I'm going to send you this, Chris, if you send me your address at the DetroitMushLab.net. Then we'll get that mailed out. I think I'm going to put another little something in the box. This isn't enough. I just didn't have it packaged and ready. So I'll throw another little something in the box. Okay? So we'll get that out to you when you send us your address at the DetroitMushLab.net. The reviews on these, we've sent these out to a few people. Dynamite. So this looks really good. 6 strains. Alone, just think of that alone, Free. This guy is at his house, at least 6 different tubs growing at least 6 different kinds of mushrooms. Anybody think Higgs is learning something about mycology? When you have 6 strains, at minimum 6 strains going, not bad. Not bad. Okay? Oh, geez. Pops is only running 3. Okay? So, congratulations, Higgs. And everybody. Why don't I want to leave? Why do I want to stay here so bad? Why am I enjoying this so much? Would you guys go get out of here? Go grow some mushrooms. Give some away. Call us if you need anything. Business has been ridiculously slow. Must mean you guys have everything you need. So there's that. God bless you. God, where'd God come into this? Bless yourselves. Go have a beautiful day, you guys. Pops out. Vegas. So it's Bob Johnson and Alan. Okay? So we got a Bob Johnson. Let me put Bob on the board here before we forget about it. Okay, Bobby J. Vegas, thank you for doing that. You did a great job. You did a phenomenal job, girl. Thank you. Stepped right up and you hit it out of the park. Would you guys thank Vegas for doing the games today? It makes it easy on Pops. You guys are out there doing games and stuff, and I just get a ramble. So thank you. Nat, have a great day. And Marky Z and Hags. An exception, you have a nice day, dear. And Cleany and Jolie. Jolie's going to do giveaways tomorrow. Jesus Christ and Jonathan K. and Chris. And Holly M. and Ronnie Real. And Nipper Mom and 5280 all day. And Deborah and Alan and Exception. And CCS and Funnies and Verse. And Satterwolf and Sandy. Veggie, Niffy, Fly, Holly, CCSE, Deborah E, Carrie, Herbie, Holly. Can we do E's to just about everybody? The Exception E, Sattery, Free E, D. Anderson E, Gypsy, Daniel E, Merch E, Penny Pack, Bill, Matt, Alan, Biggie, Big Al, Godseeker, Bill D.E., Nerdy, Jeffrey. Almost everybody we can put an E on the end of, okay? Deborah E., Jimmy Maxey, Murchie, Holly, Laura. We're not doing an E on Laura. Laura's divine. Laura's gonna go have a divine day. Jesus Christ in Australia. Murchie, Chris, Mr. Phillips, Mark, Z.E., Paigey, Holly, Matt, Marilyn E., Holly, Jesus, Patrick E. Hello, Pat. Scotty, there's Scott. Healthy. Paigey. Murchie. 5280 all day E. Kimmy. Sandman. Penny Pack. Bobby. Chrissy. Holly. Margie Holly. Poppy. Poppy. Mark and Caitlin and Merch and Bill and Jackie and Caitlin and Michael Brown and Holly and the Aviator Davey and Clean Growy and Marilyn and Nippy. Get out of here. I gotta go. Pop's Peace. E. Out.